Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be doing some historic Brawl with one of the more jankier commanders that I think I've ever played, and that's going to be Game Objects. We're going to be playing around with Lonis. What's his full name? It's Lonis. Lonis something. He's a 2-mana dude. He walks on the beach. Cryptozoologist. 2-mana Simic, 1/2. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to investigate, which basically means create a clue token. And then you can, if you want to, but we won't be doing it very often, sacrifice X clues to make opponent reveal the top X cards of their library, and put a non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield under our control. And then the rest go on the bottom of the library in a random order. That's not really what we're going to be doing, though, but the clue generation side of things is definitely very important for many wonderful reasons. So, 2-mana commanders are pretty good. Means you can get them down nice and early. But in this deck, we're going to be relying on Lonis a little bit too much, which makes it a very janky commander, but fortunately Arena does pair our commander against equally low-tier commanders, so the matches end up still being relatively competitive, although if you ever get put up against like a Yarok or something like that, you will probably get steamrolled in a matter of seconds. So, the idea is that we're going to be creating a lot of clues, and why do we want to create a lot of clues? Well, this is a combo deck of sorts. Those clues do matter, and they matter for many reasons. We've got things like Inspiring Statuary, which gives all of our non-artifact creatures Improvise. Improvise means we can tap artifacts to reduce the cost of a spell by 1 generic mana. So we just have to pay the coloured side of a card in order to play it, and we tap all of the clues that we're not using in order to do that. So that's one thing that we can do with Inspiring Statuary. We can also cost reduce cards as well. We've got Thought Monitor, we've got Gear Seeker Serpent, we've got Junk Winder, we've got Mirror Enforcer, and all of these are very important as a cost reduced thing. Thought Monitor can be a 1-mana 2/2 with affinity for artifacts, by the way, so for every artifact we control it gets 1 cost reduction on it, and when it enters the battlefield it draws 2 cards, similar to the best artwork in the world, Muldrifter. But we get to keep it. So that's a thing. We've also got Gear Seeker Serpent as well, which is 7 mana 5/6, but costs 1 less for each artifact as well. Junk Winder has affinity for tokens. We create clue tokens, so it gets cost reduced that way, and then it's a 5/6 that says whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, you can tap a non-land permanent, and it doesn't untap during its next untap step, so every time we create a clue we can tap down the board or something like that. We can also do things like treasure vault sacking, which makes a lot of treasures in one go, so Junk Winder in that regard also just gets to mass tap a board, so that could help us tap and then swing through. And then we've got Mirror Enforcer as well, which is just a 7 mana 4/4 with affinity for artifacts, so it can eventually be a free 4/4. And you'd ask why I'm putting a card like this into a deck in a format. Well, it's because it's 7 mana, and this is 7 mana, and this is 7 mana, and this is 7 mana, and all of those things matter because we've got Prime Speaker Vannifar, and we've got Neoform in the deck. Both of these allow us to sacrifice a creature and then search our library for a creature with 1 mana value higher than the sacrificed creature. Same thing for Prime Speaker Vannifar. So if we sack a 7-drop that we paid 1 mana for, we get to go and grab an 8-drop out of our deck. The 8-drop is the also best artwork in the world, Craterhoof Behemoth. 8 mana 5/5 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until the end of the turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. We try to produce as many clues as we possibly can by playing lots of little creatures as well, so by the time Craterhoof Behemoth comes out, we're going to have a lot of little dorks that are producing mana and doing other things that are then going to be able to kill our opponent. It's not the only way we can win the game, and by the way, the Neoform can be tutored up with like Solve the Equation. Trophy Mage can tutor up the Inspiring Statuary, which gives us kind of that value. Alternatively, it can get us Nettle Cyst, which makes all of our creatures kind of huge. We've got Whir of Invention to get Inspiring Statuary as well. It's kind of like a pretty important card most of the time, so it's nice to be able to tutor it at any time. But yeah, we're producing loads of little creatures with Cerula Caretaker, Llanowar Elves, Jaspera Sentinel, Rampager can repeatedly enter the battlefield making clues, Gilded Goose makes a food token, so it's going to produce 2 artifacts, which is just wonderful. But yeah, all of those artifacts in general are kind of like cost reducing some big cards, especially like Reverse Engineer, which has Improvise built into it to draw 3. But it's also potentially building up a winning board state. We've got Rampage of the Clans, we've got Rise and Shine, and I feel like there's another one, but maybe we'll see it today. I don't know. Rampage of the Clans destroys all artifacts and enchantments, and for each permanent destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 Centaur creature token. So all of those clues become 3/3s at instant speed, so we can sack them all and then have a board state that our opponent can't beat. Rise and Shine turns all non-creature artifacts into 0/0s with 4+1/+1 counters on them. If we overload it, then that's each artifact, or each non-creature artifact, becomes a 4/4, so similar kind of style. All of the clues become very dangerous. We can produce more stuff as well, like Tireless Provisioner produces treasures or food tokens, and yeah, I kind of think that's essentially the combo. You'll definitely see it today, so if you don't understand what I'm talking about, all will become apparent down the line. Oh yeah, we also have Fierce Empath as well, which allows us to get 6 mana value or greater cards, so this can actually grab us like Thought Monitor for 1 mana, or it could just go grab us the Creator Hoof. That's usually what Fierce Empath does, but in this case... Oh, I didn't know you could do this. Fierce Empath could also grab us our like terribly cost-reduced cards, so pretty good there. Yeah, other than that, I think we'll just get to the gameplay and explain it as we go. It's a bit janky, relies a little too much on Lonis, so you do want to kind of protect Lonis. We do have new cards, by the way, from the set. I'm not just playing an old deck here. We do have like Wash Away, which is a new Commander, well, Brawl, or Commander staple, I suppose, on Arena. So if you're playing a blue deck, you definitely want Wash Away in your deck, similar to... why you would always run Tail's End, because Wash Away for 1 mana allows you to counter your opponent's commander, and that's very important in our deck because we are very low to the ground mana-wise. We don't generate a lot unless we've got big things like Growing Rites of Itlamok or, you know, Inspiring Statuary. That's when we kind of get into the big mana plays. But until then, we need some cheap and efficient interaction, and Wash Away is a nice one to help us with that. And yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's continue. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty, we're in and on the play with this hand. I don't hate this hand, honestly. We can go Lonis into maybe Muldrifter, or even go Florahedron to get the Guardian project going. Yeah, there's a slight concern that Lonis dies immediately in this particular matchup. Edgar Charmed Groom is our opponent's commander. 4 mana, 4/4. Other vampires you control get +1/+1. And when Edgar dies, return it transformed as Edgar's Markov's Coffin, which gives you a vampire at the beginning of your upkeep. And then that does that 3 times over 3 turns, and then turns back into Edgar again. That's a very good card. Alright, Lonis, do your thing. Or attempt to, anyway. I'm gonna block. They could just be attacking here because it gets an attack trigger. Yep. So that works for me. So, how do I want to do this? Inspiring Statuary is very good. Non-artifacts have Improvise. It's basically a mana rock, but it doesn't get me a clue, similar to, like, Lonis. So I kind of think I just want to go with the Florahedron here. Cost reduces the Junk Winder, and we can even hit our opponent for 1. So it looks like Lonis is going to live. That's kind of nice. Love to see that. Radiant Destiny on Vampire. Been a while since I've seen Radiant Destiny, but obviously it makes sense for their deck. Oh, Crater Daddy. That's a thing. Okay, so I would like to cast Muldrifter without having it die. Believe I can do that. No, I cannot. I lied. Let's do Inspiring Statuary. And swing. So I can now, like, cost reduce one of my cards by 2 thanks to the Statuary. There's the Edgar. Hits me for 4. Our life total is a resource, so far we're using it well. I'm going to go with... I could do Trophy Mage for 1, get a 3-drop artifact. I don't even know what the 3-drop artifacts could be. Nettle Cyst? Yeah, it looks like Nettle Cyst. So tap, tap. Get a clue, get a Nettle Cyst. Play Nettle Cyst, I suppose, because it's a big boy. And pass the turn. Getting quite close to where we want to be. Vanquisher's Banner on Vampire. They've got all the Lord effects. So they are going to swing in. I am still kind of inclined to just ignore them completely. I think I'll just completely ignore them. Go to 6. I can block later, of course, and go up to 7 as well. And we can actually cast Crater Hoof right now. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Crater Hoof comes down, 5 damage. Yeah, we just won, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we just won. Oh, I can also tap the Nettle Cyst because the equipment itself doesn't really matter. And yeah, we win the game. Cool. Well, normally what we would have to do is play the Junk Winder and then draw into a way to neoform it into a Crater Hoof, but since we drew the Crater Hoof with the greatest artwork in the world, then yeah, no need to do that. Pretty sweet. On to the next one. Alrighty, we're in, and we've got a hand. It certainly is a hand. It even has Inspiring Statuary in it, one of our better cards. So yeah, we're gonna keep this one, and we're gonna appreciate it. We go Lonis on turn 2. Turn 3, we play Druid and Dockhand, gaining 2 clues, and then the Inspiring Statuary comes down after that, and then hopefully from there we can Bounty the Deep for 1 mana. And everything else can maybe start costing us 1 mana as well. That's the idea, at least. See if we make that happen. I think for that reason we are going to Fabled Passage on turn 1, because this is a tap land unless you have 4 mana. Our opponent played a Shepherd, we drew a Negate. It's a comedy. By the way, Harald, King of Skemfar, 3 mana, 3/2 with Menace. It's an elf commander. Look at the top 5 cards here. A library, reveal an elf, warrior, or Tyvar card from among them and put it into your hand. The rest of the bottom of your library in random order. I don't know why they don't actually have just Tyvar as their commander. I feel like a planeswalker elf that makes elves is probably just a little bit better than a one-time tutor kind of card. But that's just me. Alright. Let's play Lonis. That being said, you know, this deck of our opponents is very aggressive. Lonis being 1/2 could mean it's just about to eat some removal. I would hate for that to happen. It didn't. Okay, good. So, an elf or a Tyvar, they completely whiffed, and that's why Planeswalker commanders are better. Alright. Wonderful. So we're going to go with Leafkin Druid, which is another blocker, and Merchant Stockhand, which is another blocker. All of those giving us clues, which we can use to fuel our statuary down the line. Or all of our cards, really. Abomination of Llanowar. That's a good one. It's also a legend. I would almost also be inclined to play that one over what our opponent's playing. Okay, well, that was a bit of a pointless attack. I guess they're testing me to find out whether I want to lose my commander plus another card for a 2-2 that's done its job. Hello, Prime Speaker Vanifar. I believe I'm going to go with Inspiring Statuary. I could then... Let's think about this. If I went with Bounty of the Deep, I could do it for 1 mana. But I wouldn't have Negate open. I won't have Negate open doing this either, but it's a 2-4 and... gets us a clue. Gotta remember, if I do use Bounty of the Deep, to hold this land in hand, because it cares about the state of those. That's probably Poison the Cup, if I had to guess. Which is fine for us, because we get to untap before it's useful. So I'm going to tap, tap. Play my land, play Llanowar Elves. I'm not sure there's a 3-drop I would want. Oh no, I guess there is, because I can get Nettle Cyst. And Nettle Cyst is very large. So if I float mana here, go sack Leafkin Druid. Oh, I could also get Fierce Empath. Yes. Fierce Empath gets me Craterhoof Behemoth. Which is a card I can cast. I believe... Do I have the mana to do... Hang on, if I did this, make a clue, then I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah, cool. I get to hold up and negate though, so nothing can truly really go wrong, I think. I was hoping that I could tap the Hope of Girapa, but I guess I run out of green mana. I think that was the issue. Yeah, our opponent knows Creator who's coming next turn. What was the card they foretold? It was a Return Upon the Tide, so it was actually a reanimation spell. So it wasn't going to do us any good there. But yeah, I could survive 1 removal spell. Not that it would really matter too much, because Creator Hoof's coming next turn, and then that would be a +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. +8/+8 if they don't kill anything, but +7/+7 if they do, and even that is lethal. Sweet, and on to the next one. Okay, opponent goes first. Oh, sorry, no, we go first. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves. I think says all it needs to say, really. So we're going to keep this one. And actually, we've got Alchemist Retrieval, which might have an impact on the lands I play, because I want to be able to have Lonis protected. So if I went turn 1 Llanowar Elves with a forest, for example, I only have 1 blue mana. So I think I actually want to go Breeding Pool here. So that then I can play an island, play Lonis, and have 1 blue mana open. Just in case. Well, opponent has Inquisition, so... Goodbye, Bounty of the Deep, I assume. It is a seek 2 non-lands right now. I might even be inclined to play that next turn. Takes Florahedron, okay. Ooh, Shimmer Dragon. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play Lonis. Get our commander down. Protect it with a retrieval. Our opponent's commander, by the way, Sir Konrad the Grim, 5 mana, 5/4. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, Sir Konrad deals 1 damage to each opponent. And you can also pay 2 to mill. So it's kind of like an aristocracy style deck. Annoyingly, I can't hold up and retrieval if I wanted to go for Bounty of the Deep for 2 non-lands. I guess that's the price I'm willing to pay. Now I've got Moxambo. Look at that. Beautiful. That actually kind of really worked out. Hit her opponent for 1. Got the Suspicious Stowaway I could have played, but our opponent is on 4 mana now, so, you know, they could have all kinds of sweepers and removal in this case. So I would like to return the non-land permanent I control to my hand. Almost clicked the command zone there. That would have been very unfortunate. This could just be bait for a sweeper, honestly, but we're not the kind of deck that gets to decide to play around sweepers. Not without a counterspell in hand, anyway. Nightmare Shepherd. Okay. So I'm at 2 of 4 artifacts for Shiver Dragon right now. Which is important to note because it has hexproof if I have 4. I could have drawn an artifact land there, maybe. That might have had an impact. So we're going to start by getting in with the Suspicious Stowaway. Hinterland Harbour. It's probably not as good as Buried Ruin, I guess. Since we've already got pretty good mana. I think the utility of this card matters a fair bit. I can just play Shimmer Dragon here, and I will get a clue, which means I can draw a card. And I can't do anything with that immediately, but it's something to know. Underworld Dreams. Sure. Okay, that's gone very well for us, honestly. Totally okay with Underworld Dreams. It means our creatures aren't dying. And I'm going to get to draw a couple cards this turn. So, doop, draw a card. Don't care. Bad card to draw, of course. Take another one. Just spare a Sentinel. Essentially means I can draw another card. So, tap. Shimmer Dragon also becomes hexproof once I play Sentinel. So let's play Forest Sentinel. Hexproof Shimmer Dragon. Draw a card. More lands. Fantastic. Swing. And no blocks. Alright. So let's turn one of these islands into a good card. Spell Pierce isn't bad. Counter most board wipes they'll play. For the cost of 1 point of life. I think that's fair. And now we've got the ability to turn our 4 artifacts into 3/3s if we really wanted to. I don't imagine we want to, but you would like to draw a card and lose a life. I'm inclined to let you, because I think I can get better value out of Spell Pierce. Remember, we're drawing like 3 cards a turn, so the only downside is we pay 1 life whenever we do it, but there's plenty of effects in Magic that make you do that anyway, and they're not bad. Do I want to block with just spare a Sentinel? I think the answer is no, because I'm looking to Crater Hoof my opponent here, so I need as many creatures on board as possible to win the game. So I'm going to say hard pass, but thanks for the offer. Wash away. Down to 9. Alright, let's draw a card. Turn Timber Symbiosis. No. Draw a card. Ah, Gear Seeker Serpent. That is a creature. Alright. Play a land then. I suppose we should get in for combat first. So, boop, boop. I'll block the Nightmare Shepherd with Sentinel. But I guess if Sentinel dies, I really do want to not take that damage. So I'll leave Shimmer Dragon back. There's Jacob. Let's get rid of Turn Timber here. Go down to 6. Play Jacob. And I think we pass with the plan of going for Rampage. Actually, no, let's go Serpent as well. Because we can still Rampage of the clans. We can play Wash Away for 1 mana. Using the Jaspera Sentinel's tap if we have to. So I think we've got enough to win here. I think we're definitely going to Rampage in response to an all-out attack, because I'm pretty certain Spell Pierce can never not be a hard counter in this position. Are you a zombie? You're a demon. You're a beast horror. So yeah, they're getting in. We're gonna Rampage of the clans, destroying all artifacts and enchantments. Which actually includes Nightmare Shepherd, funnily enough. And then our opponent makes their final play, which we will counter with Spell Pierce. It is during combat, so like if they play anything, it has to essentially just be a non-creature. I guess it could be like what is it? There is a knight that gives First Strike and Death Touch or something. Grasp of Darkness. Let's say no. Although, not so sure why that one's the one you care about. There's the board state. Gear Seeker can't be blocked. So that's guaranteed 10 coming through. Or 11, actually. Plus the go-around damage. And that's lethal. Fantastic. It's been a while since I've rampaged. But, yeah, definitely feels good to be back on the saddle for that one. And, yeah, on to the next one. Alrighty, opponent goes first. We've got a turn 1 Swan Song. I guess that is a thing. We're going to keep it. We're up against Chainer Nightmare Adept. I did build a Chainer deck a while back. It was a very, very fun commander, but not a very good one. But that shouldn't be a concern for our opponent, because ours is also a very fun one, but not a very good one. So you can discard a card to cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn, but it can only do it once per turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until the end of the turn. So there aren't really any... I'm not playing Lonis into burn or just hard removal, I think, here. There's not that many madness cards that you really want to be discarding, so like Chainer just discards things that it'll use later, I think, realistically, is how I built it anyway. So it's kind of like a weird reanimator. You take a lower quality card and produce a better quality one. I've realized that I'm holding off on Lonis to protect it, but I can't because I haven't drawn a second blue source. Which probably means I'm just going to throw Lonis out there. Mostly because I can get this immediate value, and I know that if it dies, which it probably will, I can just cast it again next turn. Hazaret's Monument. And Chainer. So we can do some discarding and drawing. Chain against haste, because it entered the battlefield from a place other than their hand, which is cute. Opponent's thinking, do I want to trade my commander for their commander? And the answer to that question was no, apparently. So I could do Guardian Project, but then I don't get to hold up and Swan Song. I don't feel like Swan Song's going to do anything for me, though, to be honest. So I think gaining long-term value with Guardian Project seems pretty reasonable. And then we can do like 3 mana Muldrifter and draw 3 off of that and make a clue. I like that. I do want to fuel Rampage of the Clans here. Our opponent currently has more artifacts in play than I do, which is sad. But it shouldn't take long for that to change.
What do you want me to say?
Alexa, shut up. Alright, they discarded an Atali. That is a cultured individual if I've ever seen one. Beautiful. Alright, gets in for 6. Exiles cards from both of ours. Atali doing Atali things, which is gaining no value. And hits us for 6. My turn. Ooh, Rise and Shine. It's basically Rampage of the Clans. But benefits us most. So kind of like one of my concerns right now is our opponent gets like a Massacre Worm. That's like one of the big cards that was in my deck when I built it. We're just going to play Muldrifter though, I think, here, and hope to make it work. Opponent finds it very impressive that I've made a clue and drawn 3 cards. I also find it somewhat impressive as well. Ooh. Stonecoil Serpent. I can make that bigger than Atali. Next turn, so that's cute. Got Balaged Recovery as well now, just in case anything were to happen to my cards that I would be less appreciative of. So, looting, gets rid of Frenzy. Frenzy's actually kind of cute with Chainer, to a certain extent. Okay. So they got themselves a Liliana's Reaver. And they get to loot. Opponent's doing their thing. Lannery Storm in the yard as well. That gains haste, and deals combat ownership player. That player discards a card. We can't be having that now, can we? Ooh, they got a Mox Amber. And a Valky as well, right? Oh my god, it can come out as Tybalt. Oh, Atali. Atali, you beautiful, beautiful beast, you. That's really, really disturbing and probably loses this game. That's what I want to say. Guess I'll chump block here so I don't have to discard. The actual 6 damage is less valuable to me. There's no way Tybalt doesn't tick down on like Lonis, right? Ticks up. I guess a Chupacabra to kill my Lonis next turn. And a Hope of Girapa. Alright, I really need a miracle here. Swan Song is not stopping the Chupacabra. I can do a redraw with a Stonecoil Serpent. Because it will just die to Chupacabra if I make it big, so I might as well just, like, make an X1. Draw a card, make a clue. Solve the equation. Unfortunately, don't think that gets me anything good. Like, it's usually to get Neoform, but my cards aren't set up to be Neoformed. Harvest. What do we get? I could keep my creatures alive with a wash away. Could just get bounty, but I can't really cast it. Let's reverse engineer. Let's just reverse engineer later. I don't know. This seems too far out of my control now. I don't know how I win this, honestly. Because this only makes my non-creature artifacts 4/4s, so I'm only making 3 4/4s here, and that's just so far away from killing our opponent. Gets a Drana, oh my god. Hasty Drana, I will concede to that. Yeah, that just didn't come together at all. But some sweet things happened, just not for us. On to the next one. Okay, on the play. No blue mana, so we can wash this hand away. No... Oh, there's blue mana. Just cost me 3 life. We keep this one, though. Let me just go Seagate Restoration. I guess tapped, and then we'll greedily use the Silver Raven to follow up with. I don't imagine Lonis dies immediately, but there are certainly cards our opponent could have that would do it. I'm just going to go Arcane Signet, but no Fatal Push. Good, good, good. Alright. Llanowar Elves is a good one. So my concern is I don't have Metallic Rebuke open if I play anything else. Unless I played a 1-mana Stone Coil Serpent. And I think I like the idea of doing 1/1 Stone Coil. Swing on in, and yeah, we pass. This doesn't help me cast coloured mana, so, you know, it's not like Convoke, which could use the coloured mana from Silver Raven. You seem like a card I would not appreciate resolving, so I'm gonna say no. Ooh, Muldrifter. Okay, let's just hardcast a Muldrifter. Get a clue, draw 2. A Whir of Invention and Uro. Those are good cards. Whir can get me Inspiring Statuary. No, it can't. What do you take, actually? What do you take? They take Swan Song. Interesting. I guess that allows... Yeah, that would allow me to counter a board wipe, which maybe they're either holding or would hope for. At least use some colourless mana, please, Uro. That's the least I can ask. Alright. Beautiful. Some blue mana. Probably just going to play the Silver Raven. And then hope for a good card. It is a Command Tower. Command Tower gives me the 3rd blue for Whir. So it does hold value to me. It's not that much value, admittedly, but some value nonetheless. Like, I can crack a clue as well to draw it. I didn't make my land drop, right? Already for the turn? Yes. So, we're just going to pass. Opponent's got Bolas' Citadel. So that's what they wanted to push through with Swan Song. Lithoform Engine to follow up. Going down to 13 is very spooky for them, honestly, and I don't think they realise that. Incubation Druid. So the biggest artifact I can get is what? Well, the biggest is Mirror Enforcer at 7 mana. But yeah, you really just kind of want to get Inspiring Statuary most of all. We could activate Lonis. See what our opponent's got in the top 5. And I can still do my Inspiring Statuary X3 with Whir. Blue, blue, blue. 1, 2. I think that's the plan. There wasn't anything else I wanted, right? So, like, I could have gotten Mirror Enforcer, and if I'd have drawn Vanifar or Neoform, or any way of getting them, that could have been the line to take. But I think just doing this, and then passing with the threat of doing an X5 Lonis is where I want to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have lethal if I find a counterspell. If I X5 our opponent. I did not. I did get a Tezzeret though, which was in my first draft. Well, the opponent needs to get a lot of life here and a sweeper. Otherwise they're going to be in a bit of trouble, because I mean 7's good, but it's not necessarily ideal. Aetherflux Reservoir certainly is though. Familiar. Cost reduces artifacts, draws them a card. Are they storming off now? Nope. They are certainly not. So, I have 3 artifacts. You draw me 2 if you have 3 artifacts. So, draw me 2 cards, please. Please be good. Counterspell's not bad. Let's go Trophy Mage. Grabbing, I think, Nettle Cyst is my, my only option now. Gain a clue. Play Nettle Cyst, which is a 6/6. And a Hope of Girapa, please. So I've got the ability to equip the Nettle Cyst onto a different creature, something like Muldrifter and Force Joyer is familiar, to block it. I could also... Oh, actually, I could also attach it to Stone Coil, which has Trample. So that's 9 with Trample. They can block 4 of it. And then the squad gets in at you, and I think that's gonna do it. Yep, that's gonna do it. Pretty sweet. Yeah, I was almost convinced that holding Counterspell up was the right call, but it really wasn't. Not only would we have missed lethal, but also I think between Tezzeret ticking up and Aetherflux Reservoir doing its thing, we'd have probably gotten kind of far away from winning. But at the end of the day, our win con primarily is Creative, which does an absurd amount of damage. And I don't think short of Reservoir just straight up killing us, they would really be able to realistically get to a life total that Creator Hoof couldn't kill them at. But we would have to protect it through counter magic as well, probably. So who knows? Who truly knows? Either way, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this deck, but it is a lot of fun. So if you have the cards, check it out. Otherwise, probably not. It won't win you a great deal of games, but it does go up against lower tier commanders, which gives you a better shot. It's one of the few things Arena does very well, is the matchmaking in Historic Brawl, when it works, of course. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, though. Take care, and peace.